Hi, I'm Emily Hagstrom, and we're here with Ed McGinnis, who's the Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Office of Nuclear Energy at the Department of Energy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about what the government is doing to support nuclear energy internationally?
Well, from my perspective and my role with the U.S. Department of Energy, we're supporting the safe, secure, responsible use of nuclear energy. Those are paramount drivers. And we do that in a way where we respectfully work with our partner countries, both bilaterally as well as multilaterally. And first and foremost, again, is that nuclear energy be used in a safe, secure, and responsible way.
So do you cover anything domestically? Are you specifically internationally? And how do you educate people that you work with on a daily basis so that they understand nuclear as it pertains to those areas?
Well, I have a number of colleagues that are focused on nuclear energy, both domestically and internationally. And we respectfully report to the Assistant Secretary for Nuclear Energy, under which both the domestic and the international mission for the Department of Energy comes under. With regards to the international, certainly education and engaging with the public is also key. In fact, it is so very important that we focus on ensuring that we clearly, in a very understandable way, communicate what we're doing and what we're not doing. And I can say that many of the countries with whom I work, in my capacity as chairman of the steering group for what's called the International Framework for Nuclear Energy Cooperation, within which there are 61 countries, there is a high priority in communicating and working with the public as a strong key stakeholder, and working with them and engaging with them very early on, because their voice is critical and their input is critical as we approach respectively and collectively nuclear energy.
After Fukushima Daiichi, there is a lot of fallback within the nuclear industry. And places like Germany and Japan are closing nuclear facilities. However, in Central and Western Europe, there is a moratorium, more or less, on unconventional fuels. So how are you working with Europe to get a better understanding of the nuclear industry and to continue to support that industry moving forward?
Well, again, an example is this international framework within which we have 61 countries that not only includes those countries that are developing or expanding nuclear energy, such as China, such as the UK, such as France, but we also have countries that are incredibly important members of the international framework, including Germany, including Italy. And what brings us together is not necessarily whether a country is going to deploy or not. Again, we come together first and foremost respecting a country's right to decide whether to peacefully access nuclear energy. And if that does occur, which it is clear a number of countries are still choosing to pursue or expand or continue its use of nuclear energy, even post-Fukushima, while lessons learned on safety are huge, we are all working together to help ensure that whoever uses nuclear energy is done safely and securely. That's why we have countries that are working together, even those that don't have nuclear energy, even those countries that are phasing out of nuclear energy, or those who are taking a pause to look at it. But again, the most important thing is that whomever decides to use nuclear energy, that it's done safely and securely, because we have a saying in the nuclear energy field that an accident anywhere is an accident everywhere. And that is taken to heart, and which is a key driver for our cooperation.
So you mentioned safe development of different types of nuclear energy, and one of those has been small modular reactors that have gained popularity. And in fact, just recently, the Obama administration gave $450 million in grants for development and design. I know that that's domestically. What are people across the world in different countries doing to develop SMRs in in their countries, places like maybe Africa or Asia?
There's a significant diversity of countries with regards to size of their electric grids, to their particular needs, population size, size of territory, availability of capital, that drives them to considering different types of nuclear reactors, whether it's the size or the type of design. And the size of the reactor certainly can include strong interest, and I've seen this firsthand, in small modular reactors, in part because a number of countries that are considering nuclear have small electric grids. And they are looking for a reactor that could be put on the grid and that is compatible with their size. And so a number of these countries are very interested in nuclear energy, but they do have a limited size grid, which makes it difficult for them to deploy a medium to large reactor, such as a 1 gigawatt or larger. And the challenge within the international community is that many of the reactors that are considered proven designs that these countries that are considering deploying for the first time, they're interested in proven reactors. However, many of the proven reactors, the majority of the proven reactors, are ones that are large. So thus the need for small modular reactors for many other reasons beyond just the grid size, such as the lower capital upfront costs and some of the design features, benefits. But I can tell you that there are a number of countries internationally that are very interested in not only small modular reactors, but seeing the United States, the U.S. nuclear industry succeed in successfully getting their specific nuclear reactor design certified and licensed so that it could potentially in the future be available for export and used by other customer countries.
Great. Waste disposal is another contentious issue. I know that in America we continue to debate this constantly. But what are people doing internationally that is different than what we're doing or that we've discussed?
Well, waste is also a huge issue, and I'd like to clarify that the fresh fuel that is run through a reactor, after it's discharged, it is referred generally as used fuel because there's still energy available, potentially very significant energy available. So many countries refer to the discharged fuel after irradiated in a reactor as used fuel, and certainly you can have the resulting waste that also must be dealt with. So having a very responsible back-end fuel cycle plan that involves a clear plan for disposal of the resulting waste is key. And many countries are working together, such as within the international framework, to think about the best ways that we can address collectively the issue of the used fuel and waste. There's a strong interest in supporting commercially based comprehensive fuel services, particularly for those countries that are considering to develop nuclear energy for the first time, who would be considering for perhaps to build only a small fleet, 2, 3, 4, 5 reactors, in which case economically there is seen as not a strong case for building a repository in that country, and the reverse, a strong case for international, regional, or multinational waste management, and also fuel storage and removal.
So last question is, as the Fukushima Daiichi kind of repercussions play out, how is the industry internationally really helping their citizens to understand, or people who are looking to, really become more knowledgeable about nuclear energy? What are they doing to educate people that you've seen and you've witnessed and experienced with your time internationally?
Well, the colleagues that I work with internationally are very focused on gaining the absolute most through lessons learned from that experience in Fukushima. And there is a strong determination by these countries, for example, within the international framework that I refer to as IFNEC, to ensure that we absolutely prioritize not only safety, but gaining the lessons learned from that incident. And one very important aspect, as I mentioned, is strong communication to the public and in all aspects of nuclear energy. So we're working in the international framework on the various aspects with regard to nuclear power deployment, with regards to safety, with regards to security, with regards to waste management. And again, throughout the fuel cycle, public outreach, public communication, and working with the public as a key stakeholder in the early stages throughout is key.
Thank you very much, Ed. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with us today.